The rain fell like silk against the glass walls of Seoul's most exclusive rooftop restaurant. Zarina Desna sat alone at a corner table, her fingers wrapped around a glass of wine she hadn't touched. The city sprawled beneath her like scattered diamonds. Soft jazz floated through the air. Elegant couples murmured over candlelit dinners. Everything was perfect, until the elevator doors opened. Her heart stopped. Femi Adekoya stepped into the restaurant with 3 friends, his cold eyes already scanning the room. Searching, hunting. Then his gaze found her. A slow, cruel smile spread across his face. He'd followed her here. Again. Months of blocked calls, deleted messages, ignored threats. None of it mattered to him. Zareen's chest tightened. She needed to leave, but he was already walking toward her. Desperate, she scanned the room. And then she saw him, a Korean man dining alone near the window. Calm, still, dangerously composed. Without thinking, Zareen stood. Her heels clicked against marble. She walked directly to his table. He looked up. Dark charcoal gray eyes studied her with unsettling patience. She leaned close. Her voice trembled. Please, kiss me. He's watching. The stranger said nothing for 3 eternal seconds. Then his lips curved, barely. Then let's make it look real. He rose from his chair. 6'3", broad shoulders beneath a perfectly tailored black suit. His hand slid gently around her waist. He pulled her close and kissed her. The restaurant went silent. Femi froze mid-step. The jazz kept playing. But nobody heard it. Nobody realized the quiet stranger holding her was Yoon Tae-hwan, one of South Korea's most feared mafia bosses. And one desperate decision had just changed both of their lives forever. Please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to comment where you're watching from so I can see just how far across the world this story has reached. The kiss lasted exactly 7 seconds. 7 seconds that felt like drowning. Zareen's mind went blank. His lips were warm, firm, controlled. His hand pressed against the small of her back with steady pressure. Not possessive, but certain. Like he'd done this 1,000 times. Like he meant it. When he finally pulled away, his dark eyes held hers. No rush, no questions. Just calm observation. Breathe, he said quietly. She realized she'd stopped. Her lungs expanded sharply. The room slowly came back into focus. Femi was still standing 15 feet away. His expression had shifted from smugness to something darker. Confusion, rage, humiliation. His friends stood frozen behind him, clearly unsure what to do. Zareen felt her legs trembling beneath her emerald silk dress. But she forced herself to stay still. The stranger's hand remained on her waist, anchoring her. "Who is he?" the man asked. His voice was low, unhurried, almost bored. "My ex," Zareen whispered. "He doesn't seem to understand the ex part." "No, he doesn't." The stranger tilted his head slightly. His gaze moved past her toward Femi. Something shifted in his expression. It wasn't anger. It was assessment. The kind of look a predator gives before deciding whether prey is worth the effort. "Does he hurt you?" Zareen hesitated. "He controls, manipulates, follows." "That's a yes." She didn't respond. The stranger's jaw tightened, barely. Then he turned his attention back to her. "Sit with me." It wasn't a question. Zareen blinked. I should go. If you leave now, he follows. If you stay, he watches." He pulled out the chair beside his. "Sit." She sat. Femi didn't approach. Not immediately. He stood near the bar, ordering whiskey, pretending to laugh with his friends. But his eyes never left her table. Zareen could feel his gaze like heat against her skin. The stranger, she still didn't know his name, resumed eating. Calm, methodical, as if nothing unusual had happened. "You're very composed," Zareen said quietly. "Should I not be? A stranger just asked you to kiss her to escape her stalker ex-boyfriend. Most people would have questions." He set down his chopsticks, wiped his hands with a cloth napkin, then looked at her. Really looked. "You're Nigerian?" "Yes." "Living in Seoul?" "For 3 years." "Work?" Event coordination. Luxury clients. He nodded slowly. You're alone tonight. No friends. No backup plan. You came here to escape, but you underestimated how far he'd go. Zareen stiffened. I didn't. The table you chose is near the emergency exit. You ordered wine but didn't drink it. You checked your phone 11 times in 20 minutes before I noticed you. Her breath caught. You were watching me? I watch everyone. The words weren't arrogant. They were factual. Zareen studied him more carefully now. His suit was immaculate, clearly custom-made. A silver watch gleamed on his wrist. His jet-black hair was slicked neatly backward, and his skin had a warm, light golden tone that caught the candlelight. But it was his stillness that unsettled her most. He didn't fidget, didn't check his phone, didn't glance around nervously. He simply existed with absolute control. What's your name? She asked. He considered the question. Yoon Tae-hwan. I'm Zareen. Zareen Adesina. I know. She frowned. How? Your reservation. The hostess said your name when you arrived. He remembered that detail from over an hour ago. Zareen felt a chill run down her spine. Are you always this observant? Always. Femi made his move 20 minutes later. He approached the table with a practiced smile, the kind he used in courtrooms. Charming, confident, dangerous. Zareen. His voice was smooth. Too smooth. Femi. Her tone was ice. I didn't expect to see you here. Seoul is such a small city. You followed me. I was having dinner with colleagues. He gestured vaguely toward his friends. Pure coincidence. We both know that's a lie. Femi's smile flickered. His eyes shifted to Tae-hwan. And who is this? Tae-hwan didn't stand, didn't extend his hand, didn't acknowledge Femi's existence beyond a single measured glance. Her date, he said. The word hung in the air. Femi's jaw tightened. Date? Is there an echo in here? Zareen nearly choked. Femi's composure cracked, just slightly. I wasn't aware Zareen was seeing anyone. Now you are. And you are? Tae-hwan finally looked up. His dark charcoal eyes held no warmth, no invitation, no fear. Someone who doesn't repeat himself. The silence stretched. Femi's friends shifted uncomfortably near the bar. The tension was suffocating. Finally, Femi forced a laugh. Well, enjoy your evening. He turned and walked away, but not before shooting Zareen a look that promised this wasn't over. He'll be back, Zareen said quietly. Yes. You don't seem concerned. Tae-hwan lifted his wine glass. I'm not. Why? He took a slow sip, set the glass down, then met her eyes. Because men like him are predictable. They believe their anger makes them powerful. It doesn't. It makes them stupid. Zareen felt something shift in her chest. A strange sense of safety she hadn't felt in months. Thank you, she said softly, for all of this. You asked for a kiss. I gave you one. I asked a stranger to help me escape. You didn't have to say yes. He was quiet for a moment, then almost too quietly to hear. Maybe I had my reasons. Before she could ask what that meant, his phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen. His expression didn't change, but something in his posture shifted. I have to leave. He stood, pulled several bills from his wallet, far more than the meal cost, and placed them on the table. Wait! He paused. Zareen stood quickly. Will I see you again? The question surprised her as much as it surprised him. Tae-hwan studied her face, then reached into his jacket pocket. He pulled out a sleek black card and placed it in her hand. No name, no title, just a phone number embossed in silver. If he comes back, Tae-hwan said, call me. Then he walked toward the elevator. The doors opened. He stepped inside. And just before they closed, he looked at her one last time. Something flickered in those dark eyes. Something she couldn't name. Then he was gone. Zareen didn't sleep that night. She lay in her small apartment, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment. The kiss, his calm voice, his complete lack of fear, the way Femi had looked. Humiliated, furious, powerless. And that card. She held it now, running her thumb over the embossed numbers. Who was he? Really? She grabbed her laptop and typed his name into the search bar. Yoon Tae-hwan. The results loaded. Her breath stopped. Headlines filled the screen. Tae-hwan Group Chairman attends Seoul Economic Summit. Yoon Tae-hwan donates 50 billion Korean wons to Children's Hospital Foundation. South Korea's most eligible bachelor declines interview for third year. Photographs showed him at galas, board meetings, charity events. Always in black suits. Always alone. Always watching. His company, Tae-hwan Group, was a massive international investment conglomerate. Real estate, technology, finance, shipping. The numbers were staggering. Billions in assets. Properties across Asia, Europe, and North America. But it was the older articles that made Zareen's blood run cold. Rumors persist about Tae-hwan Group's underground connections. Police investigation into alleged syndicate ties dropped due to lack of evidence. Asterisk. Former rival executive found dead. Tae-hwan Group denies involvement. The articles were vague, carefully worded, but the implications were clear. Yoon Tae-hwan wasn't just wealthy. He was dangerous. Zareen closed the laptop slowly. Her hands were trembling. She looked at the card again. She should throw it away. Forget tonight ever happened. Go back to her quiet life and pray Femi eventually lost interest. But even as she thought it, she knew she wouldn't. 3 days passed. Zareen tried to focus on work. She had a luxury wedding to coordinate. A Korean tech CEO marrying a Japanese heiress. The budget was enormous. The pressure was suffocating. But every time she closed her eyes, she saw him. Dark charcoal eyes. Calm voice. Then let's make it look real. On the 4th night, Femi appeared. She was leaving her office building when she saw the black Mercedes parked across the street. The window rolled down. Femi smiled. Get in. No. We need to talk, Zareen. We have nothing to talk about. She started walking. The car followed. You embarrassed me, Femi said through the window. In front of my colleagues. In front of everyone. You embarrassed yourself by stalking me. I wasn't stalking. I was concerned. Concerned. She stopped. Turned. You followed me to another country, Femi. You show up wherever I go. You send messages from fake accounts. That's not concern. That's obsession. His smile faded. Who was he? None of your business. The Korean. Who was he? My date. Liar. He stepped out of the car. Walked toward her. Zareen backed away. Don't. You think I didn't check? You think I didn't have people look into him? He stopped 2 feet away. His voice dropped. Yoon Tae-hwan, chairman of Tae-hwan Group. Net worth in the billions. No public relationships. No girlfriends. No wife. He leaned closer. And suddenly, he's kissing you in public? A nobody from Lagos. The word hit like a slap. I'm not a nobody. You're nothing without me. You were nothing before me. And you'll be nothing after. Zareen's hands clenched. Leave me alone, Femi. Or what? He grabbed her arm. His grip was iron. You think some rich Korean is going to protect you? You think he cares? It was a game, Zareen. A moment. He's already forgotten your name. Let go of me. Make me. The black SUV appeared from nowhere. Silent. Fast. It stopped at the curb. The back door opened. And Yoon Tae-hwan stepped out. He was dressed in a charcoal suit tonight. Black shirt beneath. No tie. His collar was slightly open. And for the first time, Zareen glimpsed the edge of something dark against his neck. Tattoo. The shadow of what looked like scales. A dragon. But her attention snapped back to his face. His expression was calm. Controlled. Terrifying. He walked toward them slowly. Unhurried. Every step deliberate. Femi released Zareen's arm. Who the hell? Leave. One word. Spoken quietly. But the weight behind it was crushing. Femi straightened. This doesn't concern you. I said leave. You don't know who I am. Tae-hwan stopped. Tilted his head. Femi Adekoya. Corporate lawyer. Graduated top of your class in Lagos. Relocated to Seoul 2 years ago. Currently employed at Han and Associates. He paused. You have 3 parking violations, 2 restraining order petitions that were mysteriously withdrawn, and a pending investigation for harassment that your firm is trying to bury. Femi's face went white. How do you leave now, before I make that investigation very public? The silence was absolute. Femi looked at Zareen, then back at Taehwan. Then, without another word, he got in his car and drove away. Zareen stood frozen. Her heart was pounding. Her arm ached where Femi had grabbed her. Taehwan turned to her. His eyes dropped to her arm. He hurt you. It's nothing. That's not what I asked. He stepped closer. Gently, so gently, he lifted her wrist. Examined the red marks already forming. His jaw tightened. This won't happen again. You can't promise that. I don't make promises I can't keep. He released her hand. Get in the car. Where are we going? Somewhere safe. I don't even know you. He met her eyes. You kissed me in front of 100 strangers. You took my card. You didn't throw it away. You've been thinking about me for 4 days. Her cheeks burned. Am I wrong? She couldn't answer. Taehwan stepped aside, gestured toward the open SUV door. I'm not going to hurt you, Zareen, but he will. And next time I might not be here. She hesitated. Every logical instinct screamed at her to walk away. But something deeper, something she couldn't name, told her to trust him. She got in the car. The SUV moved through Seoul's glittering streets. Zareen sat in the back beside Taehwan. A driver sat up front. Silent. Professional. Neither of them spoke for several minutes. Finally, Zareen broke the silence. How did you know where I was? I had someone watching your building. Since when? Since you didn't call. She turned to stare at him. You've been watching me? Protecting you? Without my permission? Would you have said yes if I'd asked? She didn't answer. Taehwan looked out the window. I told you to call me if he came back. You didn't, so I took precautions. That's controlling. That's practical. You don't know me. I know you're brave, impulsive, proud, and currently in danger because of a man who refuses to accept rejection. He turned to face her. I also know you haven't told anyone about him. Not your friends. Not your employer. Not the police. Zareen's throat tightened. Because no one believes me. He's charming. Successful. Everyone loves him. I believe you. 3 words. Simple. But they shattered something inside her. The SUV pulled through iron gates. Zareen's breath caught. They were approaching a massive estate. Traditional Korean architecture blended with modern luxury. Curved tiled roofs. Wooden beams. Glass walls. Gardens. Waterfalls. It was beautiful. And intimidating. Where are we? My home. This is your house? One of them. The SUV stopped. A man in a black suit opened the door. Taehwan stepped out, offered his hand. Zareen hesitated, then took it. Inside, the estate was even more stunning. Polished wooden floors, minimalist furniture, Korean art displayed on the walls, soft lighting. Everything smelled like cedarwood and rain. You'll stay here tonight, Taehwan said. I have my own apartment, which he knows the location of. Zareen stopped walking. I can't just move in with you. I'm not asking you to move in. I'm asking you to stay one night, until I handle this. Handle this how? He didn't answer. Taehwan, you don't want to know. The calmness in his voice sent a chill down her spine. She suddenly remembered the articles she'd read. The rumors. The dropped investigations. The dead rival. Who are you? She whispered. Really? He was quiet for a long moment. Then, I'm someone who keeps his word. A woman appeared. Middle-aged. Warm face. Kind eyes. Mr. Yoon. The guest room is ready. Thank you, Mrs. Park. The woman turned to Zareen with a gentle smile. Miss Adesina. Welcome. Can I bring you anything? Tea? Food? Zareen blinked. They knew her name. Tea would be nice. Thank you. Mrs. Park bowed slightly and disappeared. Taehwan gestured down a hallway. I'll show you your room. The guest room was larger than Zareen's entire apartment. A king-sized bed with silk sheets. A private bathroom with a soaking tub. Windows overlooking the garden. Fresh flowers on the nightstand. This is too much. It's a room. It's a palace. Taehwan's lips twitched. Almost a smile. Rest. You're safe here. He turned to leave. Wait. He paused at the door. Zareen struggled to find words. Why are you doing this? You don't know me. You owe me nothing. He was silent. Then, maybe I have my reasons. The same answer from the restaurant. Before she could respond, he was gone. Zareen couldn't sleep. Not because of fear. Because of him. His voice echoed in her mind. His calm certainty. The way he'd looked at Femi. Like he was already calculating 10 different ways to destroy him. She got up. Walked to the window. The garden below was illuminated by soft lantern light. And there, standing near a pond, was Taehwan. His jacket was off. His sleeves were rolled up. She could see them now. The tattoos. They covered both arms from shoulder to wrist. Intricate black and gray artwork. A white tiger. A soaring phoenix. Mountains. Flowers. Clouds. And on his neck, now fully visible, a dragon. It coiled from behind his ear down to his collar. Detailed. Beautiful. Dangerous. He stood perfectly still. Looking at the water. Lost in thought. Zareen watched him for a long time. She didn't know who he really was. She didn't know what he wanted. But for the first time in months, she felt safe. Morning came soft and golden. Zareen woke to birds singing outside her window. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then it all came flooding back. The kiss. Femi. The estate. Him. She dressed quickly, her clothes from last night, slightly wrinkled but clean, and stepped into the hallway. Mrs. Park appeared almost instantly. Good morning, Miss Adesina. Breakfast is ready. Where's Mr. Yoon? In his study. He asked not to be disturbed. But he said you should eat. Zareen followed her to a dining room with floor-to-ceiling windows. A traditional Korean breakfast was laid out. Rice, soup, banchan, grilled fish. Everything looked exquisite. She sat down slowly and tried to make sense of her life. An hour later, Taehwan appeared. He was dressed in a black suit again. Fresh, sharp. His collar was closed now, hiding the dragon. Did you sleep? He asked. A little. He sat across from her, poured himself tea. I spoke with my lawyers this morning. About what? Femi Adekoya. Zareen stiffened. What about him? I'm having the harassment investigation reopened. I'm also filing additional complaints on your behalf, based on the incident last night. You can't do that without my permission. Then give me your permission. She stared at him. Why do you care so much? Taehwan set down his cup, folded his hands. For the first time, she saw something crack in his composure. Something raw beneath the control. Because men like him never stop. They escalate. They hurt. They destroy. And the world lets them. Because they're charming, successful, untouchable. His voice dropped. I've seen what happens when no one intervenes. I won't let that happen to you. Zareen felt tears burning behind her eyes. You don't know me. I know enough. You met me 4 days ago. And in 4 days, you've shown more courage than most people show in a lifetime. He held her gaze. Let me help you, Zareen. Please. She said yes. She didn't know why. Maybe because she was tired of fighting alone. Maybe because no one had ever offered to fight with her. Maybe because something about Yoon Taehwan made her feel seen in a way she'd never felt before. Whatever the reason, she said yes. And everything changed. The next week moved quickly. Lawyers filed papers. Investigations reopened. Femi's firm suddenly became very interested in distancing themselves from him. Zareen moved back to her apartment, but Taehwan insisted on security. 2 guards. Unmarked car. Rotating shifts. She protested at first. Then she noticed how much calmer she felt. How easily she slept. How the constant fear started to fade. She still didn't fully understand who Taehwan was, but she was starting to understand who he was to her. They began spending time together. Dinners at his estate, walks through his gardens, long conversations about art, business, culture, family. He asked about Nigeria, about her childhood, about her parents, both gone now, about why she came to Seoul. She told him everything, things she'd never told anyone. And he listened, not to respond, not to fix, just to understand. One evening they sat in his library. A fire crackled softly. Rain tapped against the windows. Zareen looked at the bookshelves, filled with Korean literature, business texts, philosophy. "Do you ever get lonely?" she asked. He considered the question. "I've been alone a long time." "That's not what I asked." He was quiet. Then, "Yes, sometimes." "Why don't you let anyone in?" "Because the people in my world are dangerous. And I've learned that caring about someone makes them a target." Zareen turned to face him. "Is that why you've never married? Never had a serious relationship?" He met her eyes. "Yes. So what am I?" The question hung between them, heavy, electric. Taehwan didn't answer immediately. When he did, his voice was lower than usual. "I don't know yet." The shift happened gradually. The way he looked at her changed. Lingering, searching, like he was trying to memorize her face. He started calling her more often, sending cars when she worked late, making sure she ate, making sure she was safe. He started touching her, too. Nothing inappropriate. A hand on her back, fingers brushing her arm, tucking her hair behind her ear. Small gestures, but they felt enormous. Zareen tried to ignore it, tried to tell herself it was just gratitude, just proximity, just loneliness meeting loneliness. But every time he looked at her, every time his voice softened around her name, she felt something tighten in her chest, something warm, something terrifying. She was falling for him, and she had no idea what to do about it. 3 weeks after that first kiss, Mama Ifunanya came to visit. Zareen's mentor, her surrogate grandmother, a Nigerian woman who'd lived in Seoul for 30 years. They met at a cafe near Bukshan Hanok village. Mama Ifunanya studied Zareen carefully over her tea. "You look different." "Different how?" "Lighter, like someone lifted a weight off your shoulders." Zareen smiled. "Things have been better lately." "Because of that man?" Zareen nearly choked. "What man?" "The one you've been spending every evening with. The one who sends cars to pick you up. The one whose security guards follow you everywhere." Zareen sighed. "How do you know about that?" "I have eyes, child. And I have friends who have eyes." Mama Ifunanya leaned forward. "Who is he?" Zareen hesitated, then told her everything. When she finished, Mama Ifunanya was silent for a long moment. Then she said, "You're playing with fire." "I know. He's dangerous." "I know. And you're falling in love with him anyway." Zareen's breath caught. "I'm not. Don't lie to me, child. I've known you since you were 20 years old. I know what love looks like on your face." Zareen's eyes filled with tears. "I don't know what to do." Mama Ifunanya reached across the table, took her hands. "Love is never safe, Zareen. It's never convenient. It doesn't follow rules or logic." Her eyes softened. "The question isn't whether he's dangerous. The question is whether he's dangerous to you." That night, Zareen went to Taehwan's estate. She found him in the garden, standing by the same pond, same posture, same stillness. But this time when he turned, his eyes lit up, just slightly, just enough for her to notice. "You came. You invited me. I always invite you. You don't always come." She walked toward him, stopped a few feet away. "We need to talk." His expression shifted, guarded now. "About us." The word hung in the air. Taehwan didn't move. "There is no us," he said carefully. "Isn't there? I'm helping you. That's all." "Is it?" She stepped closer. "You call me every day. You send security. You make sure I eat. You look at me like—" She stopped, swallowed. "Like what?" His voice was rough. Like I'm the only person in the room. Silence. The pond rippled softly. Taewon's hands clenched at his sides. You should leave. Why? Because if you don't. He stopped. Looked away. If I don't. What? He turned back. His eyes were burning now. Desperate. Conflicted. If you don't leave, I won't be able to stop myself from wanting more. Zareen's heart stopped. More. More than I should. More than is safe. More than you understand. He stepped toward her. Close enough to touch. You don't know who I really am, Zareen. You don't know what I've done. What I'm capable of. Then tell me. I can't. Why? Because if I tell you, you'll leave. And I can't. His voice broke. Actually broke. I can't watch you walk away. Zareen reached up. Slowly. Her fingers touched his jaw. He closed his eyes. Taewon. His name on her lips sounded like a prayer. I'm not afraid of you. You should be. I'm not. She stepped closer. Until there was no space between them. I don't care what you've done. I don't care who you are to the rest of the world. Her voice was steady. Certain. I only care who you are to me. He opened his eyes. They were wet. Vulnerable. Broken open. And who am I to you? He whispered. Zareen smiled. Soft. Tender. The man who kissed me when I was desperate. Who protected me when no one else would. Who made me feel safe for the first time in years. She rose on her toes. Brought her lips close to his. You're the man I'm falling in love with. Taewon exhaled sharply. Like he'd been holding his breath for years. His hands came up. Slow, trembling. And cupped her face. I don't deserve you. Let me decide that. This world I live in. It's brutal. Unforgiving. People die, Zareen. People I care about. I know. If we do this, you become a target. You become leverage. Everyone I've ever fought will see you as my weakness. Then let them try. He stared at her. This woman. This beautiful, fearless, impossible woman. Who'd walked up to a stranger in a restaurant and changed everything. Who'd faced her demons without flinching. Who stood before him now, knowing the danger and refused to leave. He kissed her. Not like the first time. Not a performance. This was real. Deep. Hungry. Desperate. His arms wrapped around her waist. Her fingers tangled in his hair. The rain started falling again. And neither of them moved. From the shadows of the estate, a man watched. Kang Mujin. Taewon's most trusted lieutenant. He'd served his boss for 15 years. Seen him at his worst. Seen him at his coldest. But he'd never seen him like this. Never seen him hold someone like they were precious. Never seen him break down his walls. Mujin pulled out his phone. Typed a message. The boss has a weakness now. Guard her with your life. He sent it to the security team. Then looked back at the couple standing in the rain. And for the first time in years, he smiled. 100 miles away. In a darkened office, Seo Do-won looked at his phone. A photograph had just arrived. A woman. Nigerian. Young. Beautiful. Standing with Yoon Taewon in his garden. The caption read, Found her. Do-won smiled. Cold. Calculating. Merciless. He'd been waiting years for this. For Taewon to slip. To care about something. To have a weakness. Now he had one. Do-won picked up his phone. Dialed. Prepare a team. We move in 72 hours. He hung up. Looked at the photograph again. Hello, Zareen Adesina. His smile widened. Welcome to the game. The morning after the kiss, Zareen woke in Taewon's estate. Not in the guest room this time. In his room. Nothing had happened beyond the kiss. He'd held her through the night. His arms wrapped around her like she was something fragile. Something sacred. She'd never slept so deeply in her life. Now sunlight streamed through silk curtains. The bed beside her was empty, but his scent lingered on the pillow. Cedarwood. Rain. Something darker beneath. She sat up slowly. Her heart was still racing from the memory of his lips. His hands. His broken voice. I can't watch you walk away. She found him in the dining room. already dressed. Black suit, white shirt, collar closed. He looked up when she entered. His eyes softened immediately. You stayed. You asked me to. I didn't think you would. She sat across from him. Mrs. Park appeared with tea and breakfast. Zareen waited until they were alone again. What happens now? Taehwan set down his cup. Now, everything changes. How? He was quiet for a moment. I need to tell you something. About who I am. What I do. I already know. His eyebrows rose. You know? I researched you. After that first night. The articles. The rumors. She held his gaze. I know you're not just a businessman. Taehwan leaned back. His expression was unreadable. And you stayed anyway. I stayed because of what I saw, not what I read. What did you see? A man who protects people, who keeps his word, who stepped in when no one else would. She reached across the table, took his hand. I don't care about the rumors. I care about you. His fingers tightened around hers. The rumors are true, Zareen. Her breath caught. All of them. Most of them. He stood, walked to the window, looked out at the garden where they'd kissed in the rain. My father built this empire. Not just the legitimate business, but the other side too. The underground. The syndicate. His voice was flat, distant. He was ruthless, brilliant, feared by everyone, including me. Zareen listened in silence. When he died, I inherited everything. The company, the contacts, the debts, the enemies. He turned to face her. I've spent 15 years trying to dismantle the worst parts of what he built. Shutting down the trafficking, the drugs, the weapons. His jaw tightened. But you can't erase blood with clean hands. I've done things, Zareen. Things that would make you look at me differently. She stood, walked toward him, stopped directly in front of him. Have you killed people? The question hung in the air. His eyes were dark, haunted. Yes. Innocent people? Never. Then tell me who. He exhaled slowly. Men who hurt children. Men who sold women. Men who would have destroyed everything I was trying to rebuild. His voice cracked. I'm not a good man, Zareen. I'm trying to be. But I'm not. She cupped his face. Forced him to look at her. Good men don't exist. Only men who keep trying. He kissed her then. Not desperate like before. Gentle. Reverent. Like she was absolution. When he pulled away, his forehead rested against hers. You're going to destroy me, he whispered. Maybe. But at least we'll go down together. He laughed. Actually laughed. Low and rough and beautiful. You're insane. You kissed a stranger in a restaurant because she asked nicely. Who's insane? His smile faded. Something flickered in his eyes. I didn't kiss you because you asked. Zareen frowned. What do you mean? He stepped back, ran a hand through his hair. That night at the restaurant, I was there for a meeting. A business associate. He never showed. He paused. I noticed you the moment you walked in. Zareen's heart stuttered. You did. You were alone. Nervous. Checking your phone constantly. Something was wrong. I could see it. He turned to face her. Then that man walked in. And I saw your face change. Fear. Panic. Desperation. His voice hardened. I recognized that look. I'd seen it before. On people who had no one to help them. Zareen's throat tightened. So when I came to your table, I'd already decided. Decided what? That if you asked for help, I would give it. He stepped closer. You didn't use me that night, Zareen. I chose to help you. Because something about you made me want to. Tears burned behind her eyes. Why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't understand it myself. I still don't. He touched her face. Brushed away a tear she hadn't realized had fallen. All I know is that from the moment I saw you, I couldn't look away. The next 2 weeks were a dream. Zareen moved into the estate. Not permanently, just temporarily. Until Femi's case was resolved. Until the legal pressure forced him to back off. But every day with Taehwan felt like stepping into another world. A world of quiet mornings and long conversations. of dinners in the garden and walks through the city, of stolen glances and brushing hands. They didn't rush, didn't push. The connection between them grew like a slow flame, steady, warm, unshakable. Kang Mujin watched it all. 15 years at Taehwan's side. He'd never seen his boss like this. Smiling, laughing, distracted. It was beautiful and terrifying, because Mujin knew something Taehwan didn't. Seo Do-won was moving, quietly, strategically, gathering information, building a plan. The photograph of Zareen had already circulated through underground channels. Everyone who mattered knew about her now. Taehwan's weakness, Taehwan's heart. Mujin had doubled security, tripled surveillance. But he knew it wouldn't be enough. Do-won wasn't the kind of enemy who attacked head-on. He slithered, waited, struck when you least expected. And when he struck, he aimed to kill. On a rainy Thursday evening, Zareen received a call. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. Hello. Silence. Then a man's voice. Cold. Amused. Hello, Zareen. We haven't met yet. But we will soon. Her blood ran cold. Who is this? A friend of your boyfriend's. Or should I say, an old rival. Her hand trembled. How did you get this number? I get everything I want eventually. Numbers. Addresses. People. A pause. You're very beautiful, by the way. I can see why he's obsessed. Zareen's voice hardened. What do you want? Just to introduce myself. My name is Seo Do-won. Remember it. The line went dead. Zareen found Taehwan in his study. He was reviewing documents. His sleeves were rolled up. The intricate tattoos on his forearms caught the lamplight. A white tiger, phoenix, mountains and flowers. He looked up when she burst through the door. What's wrong? Someone called me. His expression shifted instantly, from calm to lethal. Who? He said his name was Seo Do-won. The room went silent, completely silent. Taehwan's hand tightened around his pen. The metal bent. What did he say? He said he's an old rival. He said, he gets everything he wants. She swallowed. He said I'm beautiful, that he understands why you're obsessed. The pen snapped. Ink splattered across the desk. Taehwan didn't seem to notice. His eyes were black now. Not charcoal. Black. Fury burning beneath the surface. Did he threaten you? Not directly, but it felt like one. He stood, walked toward her. His hands cupped her face. I won't let him touch you. Do you understand? I will burn this entire city down before I let him near you. His voice was shaking. She'd never heard him shake before. Taehwan, promise me you won't go anywhere without security. Promise me. I promise. He pulled her into his arms, held her so tightly she could barely breathe. She felt his heart pounding against her chest. This man, this powerful, feared, untouchable man, was terrified, not for himself, for her. That night, Taehwan made a call. He didn't tell Zareen about it, but she heard fragments through the door. His voice was ice. Find out how he got her number. A pause. I don't care what it takes. Another pause. If anyone else contacts her, anyone, I want names. I want locations. I want them gone. Silence. No. Not arrested. Gone. The call ended. Zareen leaned against the wall. Her heart was racing. She knew what gone meant. She should have been horrified. But all she felt was protected. The next few days were tense. Security doubled at the estate. Zareen was no longer allowed to go anywhere alone. Mujin personally oversaw her protection. He was a quiet man. Stern face. Sharp eyes. But kind in his own way. He brought her tea sometimes. Made sure she ate. Asked about her work. One evening, she caught him watching her and Taehwan in the garden. They were walking hand in hand. Taehwan was actually smiling. Mujin's expression was complicated. Pride. Worry. Something like hope. When Zareen returned inside, she found him waiting. Miss Adesina. Please. Just Zareen. He nodded slowly. Zareen. May I speak with you? Of course. They sat in the library. Mujin poured them both tea. His movements were precise, practiced. "I've known Mr. Yoon for 15 years, he said quietly. Since he was 23. Since his father's death. Zareen listened. He was a different man then. Cold. Closed off. Ruthless in ways that frightened even his allies. He set down his cup. He built walls around himself because he believed caring about someone made you weak. Made you vulnerable. His eyes met hers. But since he met you, those walls have started crumbling. Zareen's chest tightened. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Both. He's happier than I've ever seen him. But he's also more exposed. More afraid. He leaned forward. Seo Do-won knows this. He's been waiting years for Taehwan to have a weakness. And now, he has one. Me. Yes. Zareen swallowed. What should I do? Mujin was quiet for a long moment. Love him, but don't make him choose between you and survival. Because he'll choose you every time, even if it destroys him. 3 days later, the first attack came. Zareen was returning from a meeting with a wedding client. 2 SUVs in her convoy. For guards. They were on a quiet highway outside Seoul when the ambush happened. 3 black vans appeared from nowhere, blocking the road. Armed men swarmed out. Gunfire erupted. Zareen screamed. The guards pushed her down, covered her with their bodies. Glass shattered. Metal screamed. She heard shouting in Korean. Then silence. Heavy. Absolute. Someone yanked the door open. She saw a man's face. Cold eyes. Scarred cheek. He smiled. Gotcha. They dragged her out. She fought. Kicked. Screamed. But there were too many. They threw her into a van. Bound her hands. Covered her eyes. She heard the engine roar. Felt the vehicle accelerate. And then, nothing. When the blindfold came off, Zareen was in a warehouse. Cold. Empty. Industrial lights buzzing overhead. She was tied to a chair. Her wrists burned from the rope. Her heart was racing. But she forced herself to breathe. To think. To survive. A door opened. Footsteps echoed. And then he appeared. Seo Do-won. He was handsome. That was the first thing she noticed. Sharp jaw. Cold eyes. Expensive suit. But there was something hollow behind his smile. Something dead. Zarina Desina, he said softly. Finally. She didn't respond. He pulled up a chair. Sat across from her. Crossed his legs. You're more beautiful in person. I see why he lost his mind over you. What do you want? Her voice was steady. Stronger than she felt. He tilted his head. I want him to suffer. And you're the key to that. Do-won leaned back. Did he tell you about me? About our history? He mentioned you. What did he say? That you're a coward who attacks from the shadows. Do-won's smile flickered. Is that all? That's enough. His eyes hardened. Your boyfriend killed my brother. Did he mention that? Zareen's breath caught. What? 10 years ago, my brother was running operations in Busan. Taehwan decided those operations were inconvenient, so he eliminated them. Do-won's voice turned cold. Along with everyone involved, including my brother. Zareen's mind raced. I don't believe you. Why would I lie? Because you're a liar. Do-won laughed. Cold. Hollow. You're loyal. I admire that. But loyalty won't save you. He stood. Pulled out his phone. Dialed. Let's see how loyal he is. Taehwan was in a meeting when his phone buzzed. Unknown number. He almost ignored it. Then something instinct, fear, something primal made him answer. Hello. Hello, old friend. His blood turned to ice. Do-won. You remember me. I'm touched. Where is she? Straight to the point. I always liked that about you. Taehwan's hand gripped the phone so hard the screen cracked. Where is she? Safe. For now. A pause. But that can change. Quickly. Do-won's voice turned soft. You killed my brother, Taehwan. Did you think I'd forget? Did you think I'd forgive? Your brother was trafficking children. He was family. He was a monster. And you're not. Silence. Du-won laughed. We're the same, you and I. We both have blood on our hands. The only difference is, I'm honest about it. Taehwan's voice dropped. What do you want? Simple. I want you to suffer like I suffered. I want you to lose the one thing you love most. Touch her and You'll what? Kill me? You've tried. 3 times. I'm still here. A pause. Midnight tomorrow. The old shipping yard in Incheon. Come alone. No weapons. No guards. And if I don't? Then I send her back to you in pieces. The line went dead. Taehwan sat frozen. The phone slipped from his hand. His entire body was shaking. Not from fear. From rage. Pure, uncontrollable, murderous rage. Mujin burst through the door. Sir, the convoy was attacked. They took her. I know. His voice was quiet. Deadly. Prepare everything. We move tonight. Mujin hesitated. He said come alone. I heard. If you go alone, you die. Taehwan looked up. His eyes were black. Empty. Resigned. Then I die. Sir. She's everything, Mujin. Do you understand? Everything. Without her, none of this matters. He stood. Buttoned his jacket. If I don't come back, burn it all. The company. The syndicate. Everything. Leave nothing for him to claim. Mujin's jaw tightened. At least let me come with you. No. Sir. Protect what's left of my people. That's an order. But Mujin didn't obey. For the first time in 15 years, he disobeyed a direct order. The shipping yard was dark. Abandoned. Salt air mixed with rust and decay. Taehwan arrived at 11:47 p.m. Alone. As instructed. His heart was pounding. But his face was stone. He walked through the maze of shipping containers. Past broken cranes. Past rusted chains. Until he reached the center. There she was. Zareen. Tied to a chair. Blindfolded. But alive. He exhaled sharply. Relief flooded through him. Then Du-won stepped from the shadows. Flanked by 6 armed men. You actually came alone. I'm impressed. Taehwan's eyes never left Zareen. Let her go. We'll get to that. First, we talk. Du-won circled slowly. Like a shark. I've waited 10 years for this moment. 10 years of planning. Watching. Waiting. He stopped in front of Taehwan. And now, finally, I have something you can't buy. Can't threaten, can't protect. He glanced at Zareen. Her. Taehwan's voice was ice. Your quarrel is with me. She's innocent. Innocent. Du-won laughed. She's dating the most feared mafia boss in South Korea. She stopped being innocent the moment she kissed you. Zareen heard everything. Through the blindfold, through the fear. She heard. Taehwan's voice. Calm. Controlled. But underneath, desperate. Name your price, he said. Money. Territory. Power. Whatever you want. Du-won shook his head. I don't want your money. I want your pain. He pulled a gun. Aimed it at Zareen's head. I want to watch you watch her die. Time stopped. Taehwan's mind went blank. Then clear. Perfectly clear. If you kill her, he said quietly, you lose your leverage, and I will hunt you to the ends of the earth. Threats? Now. Not a threat. A promise. Du-won hesitated. Just for a second. You're bluffing. Pull the trigger. Find out. The standoff stretched. Seconds felt like hours. Du-won's finger tightened on the trigger. Then, chaos. Explosions rocked the shipping yard. Not from Taehwan. From outside. Gunfire erupted. Du-won's men scattered. Screaming. Shooting. Falling. Mujin's voice cut through the chaos. Go! Get her now! Taehwan moved. Faster than thought. He tackled Du-won. They hit the ground hard. The gun flew from Du-won's hand. They grappled. Punched. Fought. Du-won was strong. But Taehwan was fighting for something more than survival. He was fighting for her. His fist connected with Du-won's jaw. Once. Twice. 3 times. Until Du-won stopped moving. Taehwan stood. Blood dripped from his knuckles. Loyal. Honor. The letters gleamed red. He ran to Zareen. ripped off the blindfold. Her eyes, those beautiful hazel-brown eyes, found his, filled with tears. Tae-hwan, I'm here. I'm here. He cut her ropes, pulled her into his arms, held her like she was oxygen. I thought I lost you, he whispered. I thought. I know. I know. She was crying. He was crying. Neither of them cared. Mujin appeared. Sir, it's done. Do-won's men are neutralized. Police are 10 minutes out. Tae-hwan didn't move. And Do-won, unconscious. We have him. A pause. What do you want done? Tae-hwan closed his eyes. For years he'd dreamed of this moment. The moment he could end Do-won forever. But now, with Zareen safe in his arms, revenge felt empty. Turn him over to the police. Let the system deal with him. Mujin's eyebrows rose. Sir, I'm done living in the shadows, Mujin. I'm done being the monster they say I am. He looked at Zareen. I want to build something different. Something clean. She smiled through her tears. Then let's build it together. The next morning, headlines exploded. Underground crime boss Seo Do-won arrested in dramatic raid. Tae-hwan Group chairman cooperates with authorities. Mystery woman at center of Mafia takedown. Who is she? Zareen didn't read them. She was too busy sleeping in Tae-hwan's arms. For the first time in weeks, she felt safe. Really safe. Recovery was slow. Zareen had bruises, nightmares, moments of panic that struck without warning. Tae-hwan was there for all of them. He held her through the nightmares, talked her through the panic. Never pushed, never rushed, just stayed. 1 month later, she returned to work. The wedding she'd been planning was 3 weeks away. The clients were understanding. The event was beautiful. Zareen stood at the back of the venue, watching the couple exchange vows. Tae-hwan appeared beside her. Beautiful ceremony. They're in love. I know the feeling. She turned to look at him. He was smiling. Actually smiling. Open. Free. Yoon Tae-hwan. Are you going soft on me? Only for you. He took her hand. Walk with me. They walked through the venue's garden. Fairy lights sparkled overhead. Soft music floated from the reception. Tae-hwan stopped near a fountain. I have something to tell you. Zareen's heart skipped. What? I've been making changes. To the company. To my other operations. He faced her. I'm dissolving the syndicate. Completely. Transitioning everything to legitimate business. Her eyes widened. You're what? It'll take years. Maybe decades. But I want out. I want something real. He cupped her face. I want a life with you. A real life. Not one built on shadows and blood. Tears streamed down her cheeks. Tae-hwan. I know it's asking a lot. I know I have a past. I know. She kissed him. Hard. Desperate. Joyful. When she pulled back, she was laughing. Yes. Yes what? Yes to all of it. The changes. The challenges. The future. She held his face. I love you. All of you. The darkness and the light. His eyes glistened. You're sure? I've never been more sure of anything. He dropped to one knee. Zareen's breath stopped. I was going to wait, he said. Plan something elaborate. But I can't wait anymore. He pulled a box from his pocket. Opened it. Inside was a ring. Simple. Elegant. A single diamond surrounded by smaller stones. Zareen Adesina. You walked into my life and changed everything. You made me believe I could be different. Better. Worthy. His voice cracked. Will you marry me? She couldn't speak. Couldn't breathe. Could only nod. Again and again. Yes. Yes. 1,000 times yes. He slid the ring on her finger. Fit perfectly. He stood. Kissed her. The fountain sparkled behind them. The music swelled. And somewhere, Mama Ifunanya was smiling. The wedding was 6 months later. A small ceremony. Family. Friends. Korean and Nigerian traditions blended together. Zareen wore white lace with gold embroidery. Her long chocolate-brown hair was styled with traditional Nigerian geli and Korean binyeo pins. She was radiant. Taehwan wore a black suit with traditional Korean hanbok elements. His tattoos were hidden beneath his sleeves. But everyone who mattered knew they were there. The venue was the rooftop restaurant where they'd first met. Same view, same city lights, same soft rain. But everything else had changed. When Zareen walked down the aisle, Taehwan's composure finally broke. Tears streamed down his face. He didn't hide them, didn't try to be strong. Just let himself feel. The officiant spoke. Vows were exchanged. But the words that mattered most came from Taehwan. 1 year ago, a stranger asked me to kiss her. And I said yes without knowing why. He held Zareen's hands. Now I know. I said yes because my soul recognized yours. Because somewhere, in some part of me I'd buried long ago, I knew you were my future. His voice dropped. You didn't just change my life, Zareen. You gave me one worth living. She smiled through her tears. You kissed me when I was desperate, protected me when I was afraid, loved me when I wasn't sure I deserved it. She squeezed his hands. You're not the monster they say you are, Taehwan. You're the man I choose. Today, tomorrow, forever. You may kiss the bride. He did. Slowly, thoroughly. The crowd erupted. Mujin was crying. Mrs. Park was crying. Even the security guards were crying. Later that night, they stood on the rooftop balcony. Seoul sparkled beneath them. The same view from 1 year ago. But everything was different. Happy? He asked. More than I ever imagined. He wrapped his arms around her, pulled her close. I never believed in fate, in destiny, in any of it. His lips brushed her ear. But then I met you. And now I believe in everything. She turned in his arms, faced him. We built something beautiful. We did. And we'll keep building. Always. She kissed him. Soft, sweet, full of promise. The rain started falling, just like that first night. But this time, they weren't strangers. They were forever. Mama Ifyananya watched from across the rooftop, dabbing her eyes, smiling. She'd known. From the moment Zareen told her about the mysterious Korean stranger. She'd known. Love didn't follow rules. Found you, changed you, saved you, and sometimes, it started with a single desperate kiss. 3 years later, a sprawling estate outside Seoul. 2 children chasing each other through the garden. A boy with his father's dark eyes. A girl with her mother's radiant smile. Zareen sat on the porch, her hand resting on her growing belly. Third child. Third miracle. Taehwan emerged from the house, still in black suits, still impossibly handsome, but softer now, lighter. He sat beside her, took her hand. They're destroying the rose bushes again. Let them. Mrs. Park is going to have a breakdown. Let her. He laughed. That beautiful, rare sound. I love you. I know. Do you ever regret it? Walking up to a stranger and asking him to kiss you. She turned to him, smiled. It was the best decision I ever made. He kissed her. Gentle. Familiar. Full of years of love and growth and sacrifice. The children screamed with laughter in the background. The sun set over the mountains. And somewhere, a woman named Mama Ifyananya was telling her friends about the most beautiful love story she'd ever witnessed. It started with a lie, a desperate kiss, a stranger who wasn't a stranger, and it became the greatest love story Seoul had ever seen. Because sometimes, love doesn't ask permission. It just happens. And when it does, everything changes. Forever. The end. Please like, share, and subscribe. Asterisk. And don't forget to comment where you're watching from, so I can see just how far across the world this story has reached.